So, first official vlog of prep, and I've got my handy handheld stand. Annoyingly, the dog's got into it, I think last year actually, when we first moved in. It's not ideal. I've also dyed hair. It's better than it was. It's still not the colour I want it to be. Try to put this down so it's smooth. It's still not the colour I want it to be, but it's not as bad as it was. Fucking. There we go, sorted. So in the kitchen, I might put a light on because that light is shite. You gonna? Right, so it is just 20 past 1 now. It's essentially day 2 of prep. I was 20 weeks out as of yesterday. There have been minimal changes in the plan. I have changed coaches, but I will cover that at a later date. As I wanna, yeah, for reasons I'll get to in the next video. But yeah, so I've got my beef and rice meal up now, but I'm also going to prep my chicken for meals 3 and 4. So one thing I've started doing recently is putting turmeric in my rice. So if you see me in the gym or you see me eating essentially yellow rice, there's nothing fancy in it. It's literally just a dash of turmeric. I used to do this for years, from like 2016. I think it was after watching a video of Evan Centopani doing it. Obviously, we know, or you should know, that curcumin is fantastic for managing your stress and your cortisol levels. Something obviously with my anxiety and history with mental health issues I struggle with. So I've always used curcumin. 2016, 2017, pretty much up to 2018, I was putting turmeric in my rice, but I often would just put too much in, or I'd cook the rice in the pot so it wouldn't disperse as evenly, whereas doing it in the rice cooker, it does. And it kind of cooks your rice perfect every single time. So back to using turmeric, nothing fancy, I just got basic shit from Costco. So I do just like tap it twice on essentially a big vat of rice. It's not a lot, it's just enough. So is it better than using curcumin directly? No, but there's still benefit. It makes your rice taste a little bit better, a little bit nicer, which is always lovely. So it's 100 gram jasmine rice, 200 gram raw weight steak mince. It's meant to be 15 ml of extra virgin olive oil, but I never get like a slow pour bottle, so it's actually quite hard getting it. Oh, bang on, there we go. Steady hand. Something I don't do in the off season is do that. Like with the off season, I'll just do a gentle pour. I'll weigh it out, but I'll be like, that's about 20 ml. Oh, that's about 15 ml, and I'm not as accurate. Whereas as soon as prep starts, I do. I think that is genuinely the difference of prepping, at least for myself. And then, of course, from my last preps mistakes, I'm using a 1/4 teaspoon of 1.2 ml measuring spoon for my salt, pink salt. Okay, pink salt here. So it works out to be like a gram. I think it works out to be 2 grams. I can't remember. Per meal, so 1 to 2 grams. I'll just do like a nice spoonful amount on each meal, and then I'll also add it to my intra and my pre. Now that I'm in prep, I've also noticed not consciously, but kind of unconsciously, I've started just drinking more water and being a bit more on top of my water intake. Again, that is something I am very shit with. I often forget to drink enough water, which obviously no one wants to do. And then just weighing out my mustard. I've been using mustard and mayo as my condiments for pretty much the past 5-6 months. But the new coach wanted me to weigh everything out. He was like, what? Because obviously he was like, are you using condiments? I was like, yeah. And he was like, right, just weigh them out or cut them. So I weighed them out. So I've been doing 30 grams of mayo with my chicken rice meal, 10 gram of mustard with my steak and rice meal, and I'll keep them in likely to about 6 to 4 weeks out, depending on how I'm feeling, how things are looking. Yeah, so I'll probably likely cut those out a little bit, 4 weeks out. No other reason than last prep I obviously ran into a lot of digestive stress issues, and I want to limit that as best as I can this year. I'm also just going to prep up my pre and intra shake. I don't do a post-workout shake as I just have a meal. So I'm just going to get that ready now, just so it's done. I find this is why I enjoy prep so much, is food gets dropped, I feel less sluggish, and I just become a bit more aware of everything. I'm a bit more on top of everything, a bit more organised, and it is something since for years now I've tried to like really push myself to maintain once I enter prep, once I enter the off season rather. But I genuinely really struggle. So it's the whole goal for this prep is post-show, maintain the routine I'm building and just keep that going, because I do think if I can maintain that sort of diligence, that routine, not that I'm not consistent, but prep is at like, if prep's like at an A in the off season, I'm like a C or a B, and it's just being that bit more diligent, a bit more productive with my day. There's multiple benefits. So I have ran out of creatine and glutamine, so I'll pick those up today at the gym. So my intra is 20 grams of aminos, 50 grams of carbs, and then there will be 5 grams of creatine and then 10 grams of glutamine. Nice, well-rounded post. And then at the for someone that says he doesn't like pre-workouts, we've got, me and the missus have an awful lot in the cupboard. The I guess we call it the fucking pantry. So up there you can see there's an old tub of defib, Alpha Neon's Maximum Carnage, some effective pre, there's also some Dark Side pre that Lucy's brought home, other Alpha Neon Dark Side, and then Naughty Boy, whatever that is, Menace. So for someone that says he doesn't like a lot of Stimprees, we've got a lot of Stimprees, so not a bad position to be in. Though tonight I don't really know what I want to use because it's prep, so it's now time to break out the stims and get after it. I always do pump. I always do pump. The reason I always use a pump pre is, as much as it's bro science, you can slate me for all you want. Shall we try this? What's this? Per scoop, 300 milligrams of caffeine. That's just so quite high. So the issue with Defib V2, I prefer this over the new one. The V3 is fantastic, but the issue with this is it clumps. As you can see, that's a brick. Ain't very fucking handy. But I really like this. Like for a 1 scoop pre, 200 meg caffeine, 150 meg, an extra, which essentially makes your caffeine hit harder. So you're essentially taking 350 caffeine, 300 alpha GPC. It's got Pico 2 in it. It's got a lot of glycerol, which is why it clumps. Juniper berry extract, like, it's a decent, well-rounded pre, but it's never blown my head off. I think we'll go with the Cherryade, but yeah, as you can see, I'm gonna have to apply some fucking manpower to this. How much is a scoop? 12 grams. What was I saying? I was saying something. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of taking. That's it. So pump pre. The reason I'll always use a pump pre. Let's take a scoop out before we trash it. The reason I always use a pump pre is, as bro science as it sounds, the whole. There's essentially two ways to build muscle, isn't there? There's the sacroplasmic way, which is filling the blood with nutrients, creating lots of micro tears, and creating growth that way. Or there's the what's the other one for it? And myofibril, which is training heavy and using essentially kind of being more progressive overload based. But I got into training with a very, very high volume approach, as though, although I don't train that way now, I did, and that's how I got into training. So for me, getting a pump is kind of the reason I train. I like to lift heavy, but getting a pump is king. I need to figure out a way to keep this dry. Let's see if we can weigh it out. So I always found that using a pump pre, if that enforces the amount of sacroplasmic hypertrophy I get, kind of win-win, isn't it? There's the nipping. That'll do. So yeah, I always use a pump pre. It may be bro science, but I find it makes a huge fucking difference. Especially like I train very, very late at night. I'm back to training 5 days a week, so it's push tonight, so chest and shoulders and some abs. I'll likely do a fair whack of posing after as well, just to kind of get me posing fit. It's the one part of my new routine I've kind of forgotten to. Yesterday I couldn't sleep, so yesterday I was up really fucking early, and then this morning, because I stayed up so late last night, which was very stupid, this morning I was up a bit late, but the long day yesterday has set everything up, set the week up well. But yeah, I'm planning to do minimum of 3 rounds of posing every day, so whether that's fasted or post-workout, doesn't really matter, it will get done. And I've just put my glutamine in the pre-workout, oh well. But anyway, meals warm, pre-workout and intra is set. I need to put the scoop of my salt in. See, I do forget things, I'm very, very forgetful, I find. The one thing I'm doing this prep, it's not necessary, but I'm tracking all the minute metrics that no one really needs to track. So I'm doing my skin folds, so I'm doing 9 skin folds, I'm doing the Perillo method, so bicep, tricep, chest, upper back, low back, hip, abdominal, thigh, and I'm doing my glute because my glutes tend to hold the most fat between that and my lower back. Doing my measurements, bicep, tricep, chest, 2 inch above my belly button, 2 inch below my belly button, my waist, or rather my hips, and then my quads, both thighs, and then I'm kind of working out what my body fat percentage is, and then how much total body fat I have in pounds. For no other reason than when I start my off season, I have that as an indicator of okay, this was where you started your last off season at, this is how fat you were, or this is what your skin folds were at this body fat percentage, and then also gives me a data point in essence for my next prep to be like, okay, I got down to this, this is where I was at 8 weeks out, this is where I was at 6 weeks out. So it gives me an almost a metric to aim for every single prep, to then just keep making it more dialed in and more dialed in, because the end goal is a pro card, really. Like, I'm short, I'm never going to be an open pro bodybuilder, I've known that since I was 16. The end goal is to turn pro and to be a 212 pro, but simply tracking weight is silly, because this year I've gotten up to 105 kilo, but some of the guys I follow, they're already pros, that's the heaviest they've ever been. So for me to simply think just weight is a bit silly or stupid in my opinion. So I'm going to be tracking these little metrics just to kind of give me something else to track outside of my weight. But yeah, 60 minutes. Anyway, so that is my meal. It's boring as fuck. I've also got 100 gram of pineapple to eat, which is in this little tub here. And then also I'm going to have 2 caps of Glycomax. There. Sorted. Didn't hatch. Right. More YouTube content is coming, so aiming for 4 videos a week from all the way throughout this prep. So if you don't follow me now, or subscribe now.